Le Mont-Saint-Michel. This is BlueBrixx set 102920. It was released in February 2021 for about 120 euros. The set contains 3078 pieces. This is the BlueBrixx special set, so unlike the Pro sets, it just comes in this simple box and without building instructions in a physical form. You have to download them as a PDF file from the BlueBrixx servers. Also, the bricks aren't pre-sorted. The bricks are in unnumbered bags, and I recommend to sort them before you start building, so you don't have to search too long for an individual brick for each building step. This was my first non-Lego but still Lego compatible building block set. Before that, I didn't like all the other companies because everything looked so cheap. But well, time has gone by, and right now I think other companies are almost as good as Lego, or some are even better. This set won me by its very cool design. Have a look at this little island here, this monastery island, which is the Mont-Saint-Michel. It's in scale 1:900. And it was designed by, at least in my eyes, the best BlueBrixx designer, Martin. He does an amazing job in all his sets. And this mini-scale island really looks cool, so I just had to try it. And unlike in my other videos, I have already assembled the set, so you won't be able to follow me with the individual building steps. I built this set before I started this YouTube channel, so well, that's the reason why it's already assembled and there is no video footage. But the set was missing two pieces. This 2x2 wedge and this brick modified. And it took BlueBrixx about 3 weeks to send me the missing parts. But somehow I didn't manage to place them in the build. And well, that's what I'm going to do now. Oh, while I still have the box on the table, let's have a look again. A look at the sticker again, and you can see up here there is this minifigure. It's a golden trophy, and actually it isn't inside the set. I think the following happened. When BlueBrixx sold the set for the first time, they sold it with those little minifigure trophies. And maybe Lego sued them that they did so, because the minifigure still belongs to Lego and no other companies are allowed to sell them in Europe. So BlueBrixx took them out of all their sets, but they didn't change the sticker. It's still the old sticker with the minifigure on top of it. Also, I remember when I bought the set on the website, you could read that this minifigure trophy isn't included. Well, then let me show you the complete build. So here's our complete build, and you can see that I added the trophy minifigure up here. Luckily, I had one spare of those trophies from the Pyramid of Giza set, and so I simply could place it up here on the cathedral or on the monastery. When we have a look at the cover of the manual, we can clearly see that over here the minifigure is missing. So they edited the manual, but not a sticker on the box. Well, but now I try to place my missing bricks. The first piece that was missing was this wedge in step 529. It was this or that one, I actually can't remember. Yeah, I think the lower one, that one. Because we have to attach this whole segment to that other segment. And, well, let's see where I placed it in the final build. Here is this whole segment which we saw in step 530. And you can see there's one wedge, this one, which is this one, and that lower wedge, that one, is missing. There's a gap down here. The problem is that I have built the whole cathedral on top of it, and I really want to disassemble all this whole mountain with the cathedral. That would be a lot of work. And the gap is quite hidden behind this tree and all the other stuff, so I think I will just put it in the box and forget about it. But while we got this brick still out, you can see that there are quite big injection points from the molding process. The bricks in the set aren't the best. They work, but they are, well, they could be better. I don't like these giant holes, injection holes. That's a bit uncool. Also, the clutch power isn't the best. Have a look at this little, what is it, at this little bastion over here or whatever. It is only placed on one stud, but it doesn't interlock too well. I used to touch it when I built up all the other stuff, and several times I had to pick it up from the floor because it fell down when I just slightly touched it. This brick modified was the second missing piece. It was missing in step 885. So let's have a look where we can find it on our build when it is complete. Oh yeah, it's part of this whole structure over here. So that means it's down here. There's this gap because I could complete this section with other parts that weren't used. So there were some additional parts and I just put them in here, but they didn't really fit that well, and so there's this gap. So now I try to disassemble it again, this little part, and then I will place this little brick modified, and then I will reassemble it. Okay, I placed the missing part, and now you can see there is no gap any longer. This is what I used before to replace the missing part, but, well, it isn't the right brick modified. It didn't work that well. It produced that gap. And now with the right brick modified, there isn't any gap any longer. Well, let's see what we can identify on our island. Down here we got a fortification with the wall and all its towers. Behind there is the town with all these cute little houses, and up here there's the abbey with its huge church. There used to be a dam in front of the island, but a few years ago they removed it because the whole bay started to sand up, and so, yeah, the island almost wasn't an island any longer. Nowadays there's a bridge. It leads from the mainland to the island. Let me remove this plaque so we have a better look. So you come from the bridge, go over here, and I think this is the main entry. It's the Porte de l'Hommosé. Another entry is here, the Porte Échauguette. And well, our set includes all the towers. This is the Tour Gabriel. Then over here is the Tour du Roi, the Tour de la Carte, Tour de la Liberté, Tour Basse, Tour Cholet, Tour Bouclet, and finally the Tour du Nord. We also get this little chapel down here. It's the Chapelle Saint-Aubert, and next to it is a cute little fountain, the Fontaine Saint-Aubert. Well, then just let me put the plaque back on. So, when we enter the gate over here, we follow La Grande Rue. And so we walk all the way through these houses, all the way up here. This is the town's church. It's Saint-Pierre, is it called. It's right next to the town's graveyard. You can see it's made out of these colorful bricks. And here there are many steps leading up to the abbey. So we got on top this place over here. In the 18th century there was a fire in the church, and so they had to tear down a part of the nave. That's why the church is a bit shorter nowadays than it used to be. Well, when removing a whole side of a building, then of course the building is open on that one side afterwards. So there's a huge hole, and that's quite unpractical, and so they closed it with masonry. That's how the new facade, which you can see here, came in existence. Well, and finally on the top we got the Archangel Michael. But that's quite obvious. I mean, the whole island is called Saint-Michel. Oh, and Another cool thing is this medieval inclined elevator. It's made out of these three wedges. One, two, and the third wedge is the one that I didn't place because it was missing, and now I wasn't motivated enough to tear down the whole thing just to place this one missing wedge. Well, that's quite cool. As I showed you before, the bricks aren't the very best. They got large, very visible injection holes. For example, over here. And yeah, they are on the studs because of the molding process. But that's not that much of a problem because most studs are covered by bricks where the molding marks aren't or are on a way less visible position. You see all the roofs, the tiles, and so on. Functionally, the bricks are absolutely alright. There are no problems with the clutch power, except at the chapel over here. It is only interlocked with one stud, and it uses to fall off at the slightest contact. You see, that's a bit annoying. But that's the odd one out. With all the other bricks, I didn't really have any problems. The building techniques used in the set are extremely cool. There is a lot of snot technique used. Snot stands for studs not on top. So, for example, you can see all these plates here sitting on the thin side. The same is visible, yeah, back here. Or the graveyard I showed you before. It just looks awesome. Another thing that's quite awesome is these filigree buttresses, these Gothic buttresses at the Abbey Square. When you look closely, you can see that they are made out of guns. It was really a pain to build this. My fingers are too big. When placing one gun, I always managed to push off another one. And whoa, that was really complicated. But I was happy when I finally had everything put together without further accidents. A place where I had problems with the building techniques is this house over here. It's made out of 3 brick modifieds on which you put these little roofs. And the studs to the side of the brick modifieds sit too close to the construction behind. You see? So there is not enough space for them, and that's why the whole house tilts in this direction. The plate construction, the base of the whole island, is a bit wobbly. It does not sit flat on the ground. It's consisting of one large plate. Let me show you in the building instructions. One large plate and 6 smaller ones. And well, they are connected to each other by these tiles. And because of the tiles, the whole construction bends upwards. The plates bend upwards, and that makes this wobbly impression. There is one sticker used in the set, here in front of the mountain at the plaque. I suck at placing them, so it doesn't look that good, but I think it's well enough. I would have preferred a print, but well, I can live with it. It's just one single sticker. Building this set took me quite a while because of all those tiny bricks which you had to use. I needed several days to complete all of those 940 building steps. Building all these plants here on the back was very hurtful to my fingers, but I think the result was worth the pain. If you like micro builds, then this set is a must-have. It looks fantastic. As long as there are no important bricks missing, I can absolutely recommend it. It makes you want to visit Normandy immediately.